If you think you're lonely now, wait until tonight, girl. If you think you're lonely now, wait until tonight, girl. La da da da, la da da da, la. Hey guys, Gregory here. Today I have a really groovy song for you. We're going to be learning how to play If You Think You're Lonely Now by Bobby Womack. This was a song request by a user called King David Howard, I believe. Of course, if any of you have any song requests, feel free to leave that down in the comment section and I'll be sure to get to it. Now this song has a very simple structure. It basically goes from verse to bridge or chorus to bridge, whatever you want to think of it. It's two parts. However, the rhythm of the verse is a little tricky. The chords are fairly simple and we're going to need a capo on the 3rd fret. So let's get to the lesson. So let's go through the chords. The first one you'll find is an F, and we're going to use specifically an F major 7. It is the 3rd finger on the 3rd fret 4th string, middle finger on the 2nd fret 3rd string, and the 1st finger on the 1st fret 2nd string. And for this chord, we should really strum 4 strings, the 4th to the 1st. But if we also include the 5th string, it should sound quite fine. But really try to avoid the 6th string because that could really make the chord sound really tense. Right, so 4 or 5 strings. The second chord we'll find is a G, and I particularly like to use mainly a G6 in the song. And I like to use just my middle and my 3rd finger, which I'll explain why a bit later when we get to the verse. So the G6, we just put the middle finger on the 2nd fret 5th string and the 3rd finger on the 3rd fret 6th string. And we can strum all 6 strings for this G6. Or if you want to use a G major, the good old-fashioned G major, we can use the 1st finger on the 2nd fret 5th string, middle finger on the 3rd fret 6th string, and the 3rd finger on the opposite side on the 3rd fret 1st string. And we could once again strum all 6 strings for a regular G major chord. Following that, we have an E minor, and we can use 2 fingers, the 1st finger on the 2nd fret 5th string, and the middle finger on the 2nd fret 4th string, and we can strum all 6 strings for E minor. The next chord we'll find is an A minor, so that is the middle finger on the 2nd fret 4th string, 3rd finger on the 2nd fret 3rd string, 1st finger on the 1st fret 2nd string, and we can strum the 5th to the 1st strings for A minor. And those are, wait, there's one more chord. There's a D that we find in the bridge. Now in the bridge, I like to use a very particular chord. I think it's a D9. I have to double check the name of it, but I'll put the correct name on the diagram. It looks like this. The 1st finger goes on the 1st fret 2nd string, and the middle finger goes on the 2nd fret 3rd string, and we strum 4 strings for this D9 chord. It's really a D7 chord, which would be the same chord with the 3rd finger on the 2nd fret 1st string, but I find the D7 sounds a little too edgy, a little too bright, so the D9 sounds a little bit more suitable for this, for the bridge part of the song. Okay, very smooth sounding and tense sounding chord. So now let's go through the main part of the song, what I would call the verse. It has a pretty basic strumming pattern, but there's something about the way that the chord changes happen, or rather the way that the chords are accented, that make it a little tricky to get the hang of. So let's just start with the strumming pattern. Like I said, it's fairly simple. It sounds like this: a 1, 2, 3, 4. And that is just down, 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 up. Now, what I'm doing that is really bringing out the groove is I am accenting a certain down. So the strumming pattern is down, 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 up. I am accenting that 3rd down. And to create that accent, I'm making sure to strum everything at a very soft volume so that the 3rd down that I do is a little bit louder. And also to create that accent, in addition to strumming everything else very softly, I'm trying to really just aim for the lower part of the chord. So on F, which is a small chord, I'm aiming for, let's say, the 4th and maybe the 3rd strings. And then when I hit that accented down, I strum the higher strings or the rest of the chord. So you have something that sounds like this, as opposed to something that sounds really flat. And that would be if I were to strum all the strings of the chord at the same volume all the time, which would sound like this. That sounds massively different than this, although they are the same movements, all right? And that's all there is to the strumming pattern. So what you can do now is you can practice it along with me. I'll just do it on F, so we can go together after 4. Try to really get those accents in there. A 1, 2, a 1, 2, 3, 4, down, 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 up. 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 So strumming dynamics can really make the biggest difference in terms of how you sound to the listener. It's not really what you strum, but how you strum it. I'm sure you've heard something like that before. So I have 2 resources for you. The first one is a very short lesson that goes over strumming technique. And it's like your first step in really understanding how to control the way that you strum so that you can be more expressive. The second thing that I have is a very in-depth course. It goes over anything to do with strumming, understanding rhythm, techniques, understanding how to create groove. All of these things you can find down below in the description. So go down there and check out those links, and I'll see you in the next part of this lesson. All right, so that's it for the strumming pattern, but to put that together with the chords is really the tricky part of the song. And that's because the chords are accented in a sort of offbeat kind of way. All right, so let me play it for you first, and then I'll explain what I'm doing. It starts on an F, a 1, 2, 3. If you think you're lonely now, wait until tonight, girl. I'll play it one more time. If you think you're lonely now, wait until tonight, girl. Okay, so what's happening there? It's fairly simple for the first 3 bars where we have F, G, and G. But then we get to the part with the E minor, A minor, and the G part. So we just need to understand how to count that. So if I were to count the beats while playing the chords, it goes like this. It goes 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. All right? Okay. So like I said, the first 3 bars are simple once you get the strumming pattern. So let's go to the E minor, A minor, G part. On the E minor, we have 2 beats or 2 strums. Wait on, and then the A minor 1 strum, 2, and the G 2, and on the F we have night, girl. So on the F is probably where it gets a little confusing. So the F, what I do is I strum it twice. So you have 1, 2, 3, 4. So I strum on beats 1 and I strum on beats 3. Now that perfectly aligns to the lyrics of the song. If I go back to the E minor, A minor part, it really does align to the lyrics. So if you know the song really well, it might help to just think about the rhythm of the words, which goes, wait until tonight, girl. And we just continue strumming from there. So we have, wait until tonight, girl. And what we can do is we can just add a little down up at the end of that girl. Wait until tonight, girl, down, up, down, 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 up, think you're alone. And it just starts over one more time. So, to really get the hang of this, it is really about getting the sound of it in your head and probably playing the chords along with it. Because once you get the sound of it in your head and you know exactly where the chord changes lie, it then becomes easier to play. So my advice is to kind of get the sound or the rhythm of it in your head first. You can practice it without the guitar. You can go E, E, A, G, F, 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 like that, right? And that can really kind of help you to get the hang of it before you start to dig into practicing it. So What you can do is, I'm going to play it a couple times. I'll play it by just calling the beats, and then I'll also play it by calling the chords. And you can just continuously practice along with me until you get the hang of it. You will get the hang of it. So let's go after 4. A 1, 2, a 1, 2, 3. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. One more time. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Alright, so pause and rewind as many times as you need to get that. It is a little bit tricky, but you'll get the hang of it. Okay, so now let's talk about the bridge part of the song. It's fairly simple because it really just uses 2 chords. It uses that D chord, which is actually called the D7 sus2. And then it goes to G. And we can use the G6 and even the G major. So I'll explain how I use it in this part of the song. So the strumming pattern, we can use the same strumming pattern that we did before, which goes like this. Throughout the entire thing, that will work, and you can just move on from this part of the lesson. But if you want something that sort of fits the build in that song, I'll give you something. So instead of just doing down, 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 up, you can try this instead. On the Ds, you can do down, 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 down. And what I'm doing is one full strum, and then a softer strum, and I strum less of the strings. So that first strum, that first down is, I'm strumming maybe all the strings of the chord. And then the second down, I'm strumming less of the chord, maybe the bass strings of the chord. So I have something that sounds like this. Right? It's an alternating sort of movement there. Down, 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 down. So I have something that goes like this. And I'll go to the G. So what I like to do is when I get to the last 2 bars of the G, I like to go from playing a regular G6 to a, sorry, not a regular G6. I like to go from playing a G6 to a regular G major chord because it sort of kind of completes the build in a way. You know, you can do that. It sounds nice. I like it. So I'm actually playing, if you look at the chord sheet, I'm actually playing D, 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 D. Then I play G6, G6, and then G and G. So I like to do it like that. There's one other thing that I like to do. When we get to the G's, we do continue the strum. But when we get to those last 2 bars of the G, I like to add sort of a build of excitement. And you can do it like this by doing downs. Right? So what I'm doing, I'm kind of creating this crescendo where I'm strumming the lower strings of the G and slowly getting to the higher strings and also increasing in volume. And that creates a sort of push in the energy of the song. So if I was to do that entire part of the song, the bridge, starting from the D and incorporating everything that I just said, it would sound like this. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now the G6. And a regular G. Bum, 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 bum. If you think you're lonely now. Right? So you see how that kind of creates a sort of build, and then it just kind of comes back down into the groove of the verse. Alternatively, if you want, when you get to the last 2 bars of the G, a different way to do that, you can just do like a alternate down and up strum, which could sound like this. So let me give you that as an example. I'll play the whole bridge again. So we have this, a 1, 2, 3, 4. And then the G6, G major, alternating downs and ups. If you think you're lonely now, right? So just a couple couple of ideas for you to play the bridge in at least 3 different ways. So that is it for the lesson. I hope you enjoyed. If you have any song requests, feel free to leave that down in the comment section down below. If you did enjoy the lesson, please like, share, and subscribe, as it will help me to grow the channel. But until next time, goodbye.